Hello everybody, this is Chris and welcome back to Something Else Amiga. Today we're busting back into the repairs and this is from Mr. Dale. So Mr. Dale, here is your Amiga. Let's see what we got. I have removed the address label for privacy. And we're going to cut into this pizza and see what we get. Thank you. I'm having a problem with my 3000D. I'm getting a gray screen, nothing else. Put diagram in and they worked for a few boot ups. When they worked, the bottom of the screen would flash green and then the menu would appear. Tried floppies, power, video, took the motherboard out, looked for damage, couldn't find anything. Checked the jumpers, put a warp engine in. Tried 2 different power supplies. Power light comes on with no flashes, and I do get a keyboard if I push the caps button. He also changed the CIA chips and the Paula. Removed all the expansion board till it was just left with the motherboard. Can you help? I know you're busy and I've seen your videos. I've also swapped out the ROMs out that are good, which are still installed, and the gray screen. Hope this helps. Both the motherboard and daughter core, both the motherboard and daughter board are in this box. We have yet another Amiga 3000. I'm like the 3000 guy. I don't know. He wrote tape. If you haven't seen one of these before, this is an early 3000, hence this pain in the rear end. This is called a ROM tower, and they suck. There's also a green wire to the FPU, and I forget what that's for. Some weird resistors tossed between 711 and... I thought you said you didn't have any battery damage. Well, guess what? Amber's been swapped out because it's got a big scratch across. Most of these chips have scratches. That means you're grabbing them and the tool slips off, which is fine. Yippee skippy. There's no fast RAM in here because the user had a warp engine. Now, the ROM tower thing. The ROM tower is designed to use the upper ROMs, the U182, 183 here, instead of the 2 bottom ones like a normal 3000. And this is what it looks like. It's up on double risers. There's your ROMs, and basically this adapts this old board's upper sockets here to be able to use ROMs. So you use the upper sockets, and that's just craziness. So that's how the ROM tower sits in. It's very loose. Bottom of the sockets, there's a massive something of spill right here. I don't know if you can see it on the reflection. It's possible. I mean, it looks generally good, but there's something right here that went blur all the way down to here. A big liquid something. So we're going to dive into that. 1989. This is a really low one. 1358 serial number on the daughter board. Rev6. Mine's a 7 and a 9. So this is an early girl. 6.3 modded. It says 6.1 actually. The mod must be this FPU wire to the controller chip. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it out. So we're back. It's another day, and I changed my shirt to the fried chicken shirt. Gotta represent. Right, you can't really see it, but one of these pins has broken off. So, and it's got a lot of solder blobs all over the place over here that are bridged and drag soldered, and I have to check that because you need the ROM tower. You can't just go and put regular ROMs in here. It just doesn't work. It was Commodore was using some cheap old ROMs and used the 27C 400 series. Anywho, you have to have this thing, which sucks. This has triple stacked sockets in here too, and I'm afraid that busted pin is sitting in one of these sockets. So I'm going to have to extract this row and install a new turn pin buckle thing, and it's been soldered on more times than anything. This has had massive flux and solder all over it. It's been replaced several times apparently, and it's got burn marks up and down the board. Alright, so after some careful removal of the solder, This top of the ROM tower is really jacked up. I was extremely careful, one at a time, heated until everything melted and fell out without pulling or nothing. I just pushed on them, burnt my fingers 800 times picking that hot piece of metal out, and as I suspected, I was correct in assuming the damage underneath. I'm going to try and zoom in on this pizza. Look at these holes. You're like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, they're jacked up. There's pulls, there's wires that were pulled up, and it's really bad. You can see several of these pins on this side. Yep, you know I'm filming when the phone's beeping. It's really bad. So I don't even know if this works or this works, because without this, this is nothing. It says Rev6 mod, but we got a burnt slap up wire in here too, and nothing's happening. I'm just soldering like pins that have nothing to solder to. That's interesting. So there we go. Dirty flux. I'll get that all cleaned off. Semi-cleaner, and I spilled 200 Q-tips all over the floor. It's great. I have to take a break. There's my bag on phone. Battery damage doesn't. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. So I spent all my time fixing the ROM tower, and I didn't give this a detailed look. Why? Because I take what the owners send me as, okay. So, we're looking at this pizza. You're thinking, alright, got some battery damage here. But wait, there's more. Look at Paula. On the side of Paula, do you see C411, 412, 413 right there? Do you see that massive smash underneath her socket? Right here is cracked and lifted. I don't know what in the hell. And you notice all those chips got scratches on them too. Somebody dug the crap out of them. So I spent all my time fixing the ROM tower when this is probably destroyed. And then it was shoved back in there and sent to me to repair. Oh my god. And there's acid underneath. And the chip is crusty and has been sanded upon. This just gets better and better. I can fix a lot of stuff. But good mugga. Man, how come I can never have easy ones? Never. Alright, here we go with this pizza again. Let's zoom into this tickle. You see something missing? Like right there. And the clip for it right here. And all of this is where it was pried up. So I have no idea the condition of the sockets underneath, but it's green. The camera doesn't do it justice because there's 8 billion lumens of light above me, hence I can make myself a shadow in my own basement. And apparently it's been dropped because the LEDs are smashed over to the side. Denise actually looks pretty good. It has not been sanded on. It's actually very clean, which is weird. The Denise socket is fine. Underneath the damaged Paula we have burnt component. Oh man. Yep. It's just, the story just gets better. See all that scuzz? Well, right here, where that big ball of solder bridging that ground plane is, that's where the board was pulled up. So this is all part of the battery schmutz through here. There's your battery posts. There's your... Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in. There's your issue. There's where the board was pulled. That corner's ate up and gone. That's Paula. And they're all broke. I'm going to go to a meeting that I have. And then I'll continue on this again. I've had this board for almost a month trying to catch up on repairs, and they just keep whopping you. And while I'm waiting for the iron to heat up, I noticed this. Check out the CIA. Whoops! I'm going to have to pull that and fix that too. Amber's been all scratched up like she owes somebody money. Got the old heroin itch on most of these chips. Does have a Super Buster 11 from Anal Logic. Okay, sockets out. And just finding more things. So bottom, a little bit sloppy, came out okay. Top, there's no acid damage on this board. Yep. Nope. That's where it broke. The green, and that's all acid. It's hard to see because of the extreme light on this board, but you can clearly see those bright green blotches, and I have to fix all the traces there because they were all pulled up. Basically flaked off the top of the board. The whole top of the board is flaked off. There's 4 ceramics in here that I have to probably remove. The one side of the socket came out nice. Remember, I always cut the ribs. That way I have a center section. I'm working with 2 halves. That way I don't put extra stress on the board. I did use a Solder Sucker 3000 to get it out because Mona 3's lips are broke. And I need to find a new one. The spring wore out. I guess, you know, they're not meant for the volume that I'm putting them through. I'm afraid I might have to do Denise too. I'm not sure. The whole area looks like crap, even though it was cleaned. It's not. I'm going to go ahead and run some alcohol on this. I haven't even deep braided the holes yet. Why not? Let's just chunk up a new pen. The good part is it will clean up. Those are capacitors. They're 47 nanofarad jobbers, and there's 4 of them, starting at C411, 412, 413, and all the way on your left, 414. So luckily, 411 has a point up here, which is gone. 412, of course, this one has a point over here. They kind of go on an angle like this. It's gone. Both ends. 413 is okay, 414 is okay. So I have to kind of do some magic wire underneath because the traces were ate up when the acid ate the board and the ground plane and into the fiberglass. So it's rusty looking. That's just the copper exposed when the top layer was removed. There's a lot of ground plane in here, so it kind of got in between there, and that's why it looks like it's rusted. I'm going to do my best here. I'm not done. I got to do the whole clock area. I've been fiberglass penning things that are yucky. I'm going to remove the battery pegs because they are in there still, and I have to remove the resistors for the clock area. The trimmer cap is probably toast. I do have, I believe, those. I go around and I bend all the parts back up that people have crushed into each other over the years. Like the caps get folded over. A lot of times these ceramic capacitors, they get bent and their legs touch a resistor or another component next to them. So it's important that if you're going to be slapping your board around like she owes you money and you got your pimp hand out, make sure you go through and get everything sorted. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. I've been scrubbing and scraping and scrubbing and penning and wiping and fluxing and braiding. Here in this corner right here, this is below the battery. There's your 3 posts. D-hold. I got to micro drill that ground plane right there. But a little trace right here has broke. You can see that. That is a Denise, and that's cotton ball. Denise to a rock. Can you get at? Can you work with me? Good God. So you can see that one line that's kind of sticking out at the top and the one below it, right? That little blip is gone. This guy, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the resistor, or the capacitors that are on the top. It's the bottom of the board. And yeah, so we're pretty good for the holes. A little bit wet on some. I gotta check the Denise. It looks okay here, but remember what I always tell you guys. With battery acid Amigas, especially the 3000, looks are deceiving. It looks great. I've had ones that look perfect and have been total messes. So I have to go through now the resistor packs, the capacitors that are here. 47 nanofarad. I might replace them if they don't test okay. I'm sure they're fine. They're all solid sealed ceramics. But I need to make sure that their points are still, you know, able to get power and stuff. Paula lines that go to it. Paula and Denise are all part of your I/O and your boot and your display and your floppy, and it's all a bunch of magic that happens in here. Somebody's been in here because all the buffer chips are on sockets. All of the Oki Data 4-bit field memory is on sockets. Somebody opened my garage door. So these are replaced at some point to fix amber. Clock circuit's been cleaned up. All the goop has been dug out of there. It looks like crap, but that's some copper you're seeing and clean components again. I scrubbed them with Mona's toothbrush, and I'll put this back in a little while. I'll wash it off, dip it in the toilet. Hit it with the old contact cleaner, WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner. It's like, not the oily WD-40, said it before. Works really good. I use it a lot, mainly on my hands, because they get sticky with flux, and there we go. I wonder why my hands always look like I work on battleships. Busted knuckles, you know the drill. Cut myself on these things. So, those components check out. Now it's time to bodge wire those capacitors and to their corresponding points. We'll get a new socket in Denise. I ordered some new sockets, and I also got some new SAL turn pin ROM sockets. I wish you could just take a ROM tower board and just flip some jumpers and let it use these, and it would work like a normal Amiga, but it won't. See these guys? See how they're all touching each other? They're not supposed to be touching each other. All of these, whoops, all of these are supposed to be separate. Look at that. That's not a good thing. So this can prevent you from working. Just bend them back the way they're supposed to be. I go around all over the place and just make sure things are the way they're supposed to be. Check back in a minute. I keep saying I'm going to bodge these, and I keep finding more stuff. That's the story you get when you get a story and it ain't the story, or you find out it's a different story. It takes a little while to decode the Enigma machine here. I got a micro drill out that hole, I keep forgetting. The Amiga 3000 has SCSI. And I just found the weirdest thing. I wouldn't even pay attention until I looked at it. I was replacing or bending the pin back on the odd CIA, right? And I just started looking at the chips over here to make sure everything was good. What do you see that is wrong with this picture? Well, in case you haven't noticed, this is a CIA chip. This is a CIA chip. And this is a CIA chip. That says internal SCSI. The last time I checked, U800 is supposed to be a WD33C93 alpha. How in the Sam hell am I supposed to get SCSI off a CIA chip? This is a replacement CIA chip. 8520A1. 8520A1. This is a MOS chip. It's like a CIA from a Commodore 64 or something. It's made in '87, predating this board. Why doesn't this thing boot? I don't know. We put an Intel processor in the Agnes socket. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So before I go shoot myself in the you-know-what, let's get the freaking Commodore 64 CIA chip out of here. And let me dig in the old Chipso box here. WD339, that's the one that's supposed to be in there. So I'm going to trade you your probably bad CIA for my SCSI chip. That's my last, this is it. That's my last SCSI chip. There we go. Holy Christmas. I don't know if that's good or bad. I haven't even got to those bodge wires yet. I keep finding more things. What the hell? Ramsey with a metal leg coming out of them. And I gotta go to the old Walmart. I gotta get freaking more cleaner. I'm out of cleaner. Oh, I'm tired. God. And oh my God, what is that? It's the Jelly of the Month Club, folks.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
And you're not gonna believe what I just found. Alright, on your serial port in the back, there is 4 amp Pico fuses. They're green, and they're solid state. And what is that? That's a fusible link. And it's soldered in like, God. This Jelly of the Month Club is rough. We have a burnt out ceramic from apparently using a CIA for your SCSI. And it popped one of the lines on both sides up to the EMI filter cap to the external SCSI port. It is also super important that you bend the living crap out of your cables by pulling them off on an angle, so you rip all of the pins at an angle and they become permanently bent like that, and then you get used to it. Hey, did you do those lines yet for those capacitors? No, because I keep finding more stuff wrong. She's had more plastic surgery than Michelle Obama. Alright, I gotta go to Walmart. I can't do this right now. I'm out of cleaner. And I need to get supplies that I'm out of, because these dollar store Q-tips, while functional, are just pure junk. I gotta buy the Johnson & Johnson and Mr. Johnson brand. What am I stepping on? Brand of ear cotton swab. They're called, we call them Q-tips here. What do you guys call them? I don't know. We call them Q-tips because I think that's the name, Q-tips. They don't look like a Q. These look like a Q. Maybe it's because it's in your ear. It's like a Q. How's that happen? I don't know. This stuff was $6 a can pre-Rona. Now, due to shrinkflation, you get a smaller can with less in it. Or you get the same size can with 1/3 of the volume. And it's like $5 more. 3:34 p.m. I've been working on this all day. And the reason I changed my shirt is because that was another day. So this is another day after that. Another thing I noticed on the Rev6 board is nothing's labeled. It just says J whatever. Like on any other revision 3000, it'll say like 16 meg, 25 meg, right? Not on this, just a jumper. The 256K 1NX4 jumper. Just a jumper. Actually, it's a 5-pin jumper, not a 3-pin. It's weird. It's cursed, and it doesn't, it's not. Nope. Okay, I'm back from Wally World. 2 cans of cleaner, Mona's vacuuming again, and 500 cotton swabs. Only $27. Good God. 5 o'clock. So I got some more Denise sockets. I ordered another sleeve. $25. Not bad, I guess. I don't know. Still kind of pricey. I'm going to go ahead and plop this in there. I marked my bodge wire. I need to fix the trace on the bottom. And believe it or not, all of the capacitors passed their continuity test. Wow. Let me zap this socket in. Chatting with the owner about some stuff, and new sockets in. New wire on the bottom here to bypass that corner screw up piece that got busted. Everything else, I believe, is going to be maybe, possibly okay. Now, if you're watching this, Mr. Dale, please keep in mind that these sockets I put in have the cutouts on both ends. So look at the silk screen if you're going to remove and replace a chip. Paula goes towards the back. You'll see here, you'll just see here that what I'm talking about. See how it's got the nub on the bottom and on the top? Well, she goes that way as the silk screen shows. I put a SCSI chip in from the pile. There's the WDC, so we don't have 3 CIAs. Found a blown ceramic line back there. You can see right between the CIA and that resistor pack, there's a little piece of silver or copper. It looks like a silk screen. It runs underneath and goes out the back to the EMI filter cap to the external SCSI ports. I continuity tested it and it's live. I'm going to get this final bit here near the trimmer capacitor tested for the battery, and then I'm going to go for a cleanup because it's been 2 days, and then a fire up. Okay, I'm almost ready. I took these 3.1 Hyperion ROMs out. Alright, so we're almost set up. I have my room, my area almost cleaned. I took out the Hyperion 3.1 ROMs from 2017. I took them out, and I probably forgot which one goes where. ROM Tower is a piece of crap. I hate it. You can't use regular ROMs in here. Even though it's got the sockets, you can't do it. So anyway, this probably won't work, or hopefully I'll get diagrammed. I don't know. Here we go. Oh, let me open up putty. Pound 4 large font. Hot dog. I get diagram. I don't get diagram here though. It takes a second after the green. Power light's flickering. There we go. Perfect. Alright. I got mouse. Holy Christmas. God, that's a pain in the butt. I don't know if it'll run the regular ROMs yet, but we're going to see. I don't even know if they're good. Green across the board. 2 megs of chip RAM. Audio test. I need the Devoom Tivu. Where are you? 3.5 mil. Ooh, kind of light. The volume's down. So we're going to test the chip RAM. That is the guys right here. That's the 1 meg on board and the 1 meg over here. That was over here in fast. That was moved over here so fast RAM can be here. Fast RAM was removed because the user has a warp engine. Just because it boots diagram doesn't mean it's going to boot a kickstart ROM. 95% of the time when I get these things, these bad boys are broke. So I'm going to dig in the old pile and I'm going to put some Workbench 2 ROMs in here. Just a safety. I know they work, and that way I can test them. They're just my go-to for testing ROMs when I do boards. Anything can happen to these. If you had all these shorts on this board and you fired these up, you can waste these things. Worst case, I'll dump them, get the bins, and try writing some new ROMs. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see. This ROM tower is flaky as flaky can be. I'm talking it's on SIL turn pins, on a SIL turn pin socket, with SIL turn pins and then the tower. She's barely hanging on with vias. You saw putting the new pin strip on how much of a pain in the butt it was. So it could actually go down one rung, but I don't want to mess with it. Alright, we passed our RAM tests. We have a 68030, 2 megs of chip, and no fast. That's diagram, okay? Doesn't mean everything's perfect. It is showing up on serial, and I do have a mouse. That's the cool thing. Graphic test, picture in low res, there we go. I have not tested Amber at all. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to remove the Amiga kit adapter and we're going to go into Amber. First disabled. Ouch, that resistor pack is hot. And then enabled. So here we go. Low, high, with a weird flickery, which is diagram. UDS, LDS is okay. There's our memory. Let's hit the button, skip all that. Let's do, so this is RGB on Amber. Here we go, Amber enabled, flicker fixed, scan doubled. Come on, adjust. It's off. You see it? Can you see it glitching? I don't know if that camera's going to show it, but it's like, yeah, you can catch it. See how it's glitching? That is that crusty ass VC470. If I touch it, it's fine. If I let go, it's not. You know what that means, gentlemen? We have to adjust Amber. Got it. First try. Look at that. Nice and clear. Okay, so Amber's fixed. Crystal clear. So that 4-bit field RAM, the phase lock loop, and all the buffer chips are good. And most importantly, Amber's good, which means you can use a monitored monitor on this old girl. This is an NTSC machine. Diagram is preferably PAL. Sometimes we get some fast timings. Amiga test kit will tell us what it actually is. Perfect. Alright. It does say NTSC will fail. There you go, there's one. We get one more. Right here. No. Okay, so good. That's the tick VSync because it's looking for 50 and we're 60. So nothing wrong with that. We got good CIAs. We have good memory. Our audio is working. That whine is this. Fuck, you know, it's charging, so it makes that whine. So we're good. Am I even going to bother with the owner's ROMs? No, I'm not. Because I've been burned so many times on ROMs when I have to do this. Ah, there we go. 3000. U180, U181. This is what it looks like. That's U180, U181, or U180, U181. You gotta note the orientation. Alright, that's U180. And then this whole contraption gets stuck back on these turn pins. So here we go. We're looking for a low, high, and we're only gonna get video here. Low, high, scuzzy blinking. I should get a workbench screen. In a second. Maybe. Come on. Please. I got 2 months into you. Hot diggity dog! Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to test the owner's ROMs. Holy Christmas cards. Okay, so now with the Amiga functional, okay, it's alive, but does it do anything? I'm going to get the external GoTech, and we're going to do floppy boots. Then I'm going to hook up my SCSI to SD with a Workbench 2, I think it is. I forget these things. Maybe it's Workbench 3. And we're back in business. I cleaned up and lost everything. 1 second. So I got my SCSI to SD with a Berg, and I found the shortest cable I could find from a 3000 tower, which is, as you can tell, about 1.2 meters long. She's got some legs on her. So I'm going to plug this end, like the 3000 would have, this extra little dude. Then I'm going to plug this end into the SCSI to SD. See, I know this is my 3000 tower because it's still got my 3D printed bracket on it. I haven't even tested the keyboard yet. Here we go again. Let's see what we get. Holding the light up. Low, high. SCSI. Hard drive is booting, baby. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that orange light. Maybe. Can you see it? But it's booting. Remember, no fast RAM. We have 2 megs only. It's got 321 on here. Not enough memory to run Timekeeper. We are out of RAM. Messaging the owner. But are we done yet? So we have a working Amiga, sound, hard drive. It's functioning again. I did try the owner's ROMs off camera. These are burnt slap up. So maybe it was something when the owner was trying to off on some things, that wire was burnt, the capacitor was burnt on the SCSI, and the ROM line was broke between the data line was broke between Denise and Paula. Therefore something happened. Anywho, look. Another Amiga's been saved, everybody. She's a Rev6. She's an old girl. Treat your elderly with respect. And that one was so bad I thought Taylor Swift was going to write a song about it. We got a beautiful display. It is crystal freaking clear. I have 29 kilobytes of RAM because I'm in a super promoted VGA mode. I reburnt the user's ROMs to the same UV erasable ROMs. And, ta-da, 3.1 Hyperion Entertainment CVBA. Check that out. I have never seen this ROM. It's got the boing ball, and it says 3.1, not Quattro, Hyperion. Huh. That is awesome. And I have a copy of them because that's kind of neat. Raced them and wrote them back. What was wrong with them? I don't know. How come they didn't work the first time you put them in? I don't know. On that note, I tested the Zorro offline, but we'll test it again. I'm holding both mouse buttons down, and I go expansion board diagnostics, working and working. So Zorro works, Amiga works, ROMs have been fixed, lines have been repaired, and we're good to go. Thank goodness, because this one was kicking my butt. That's another Amiga saved. By the time you guys are watching this, Mr. Dale should have his Amiga back in his possession, and hopefully are enjoying it. Thank you guys for coming along on another journey. Until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something.